conference, community conference. I know this is the first time with Perla Myers and Monica that we co-host this conference for you online. So it's a little bit different than the previous years. I have attended the previous years at USC, the conference, but this is something new that we all have to try online. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking this Saturday morning to learn about technology and website design. So I'm with Casa Azul Productions, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about my experience with website design. So again, like I mentioned, this workshop is being recorded. So if you don't want to be on the recorded video, you may put your video on the video, like mark your video off. You have the option on the Zoom link to mark your video as off. That way you are not gonna appear on the recorded workshop. So please do that if that's better for you. We're gonna be using the chat box a lot, so you can type in your questions. But again, if you don't wanna be on the recorded video, you can turn your video option off on the Zoom link. Okay, so to start, I ask you, what high school are you currently attending? And I see different high schools. So if you're just got here to this workshop, please type in your high school name. That way it helps me because it tells me who I'm presenting to. So if I'm presenting to middle school students, I'm gonna speak differently than to high school students or college students. So make sure that you please type in what high school are you attending in that chat box, or if you're attending middle school. Also, what I'm seeing is that maybe the preferred language here is English. Si hay alguien que habla español nada más, ponga español en el chat y pues puedo hacer la presentación bilingüe. So if there's anybody that speaks Spanish, you can type in Spanish so that you need me to go over this presentation in Spanish, and that way I can do the presentation bilingual. But it seems so far that we have high school students and English is fine, okay? But let me know otherwise. Also, another question that would be good to have, or the answers it would be nice to have, are like, what is the reason that you're taking this workshop? Why do you want to learn how to create a website? Do you want to create your own portfolio? Is there like, do you like art and that's the reason that you want to create a portfolio to showcase your art? Or maybe you're really interested in video games and you want to teach other people the skills and abilities of why they should learn a video game. Or there's different things that we like as people. So maybe you want to share your talents and passions, and that's why you want to create a portfolio online. Or maybe you want to create a store online, right? So there's some other students that want to create products, or they might have started the entrepreneur journey and they want to design their own shirts, they want to design their own art and sell it online. So tell us the reason on the chat box. Why do you want to create your own website? And again, if you tell me why you want to create your own website, that helps me to teach you today the best way of doing that. So type it in the chat box. Okay, thank you for your response. So we have an educator, nice, that's good to hear. Okay, so I'm gonna go over a few website options, and some of them are gonna be free, but I'll just go over them so you have options and you know what things you can use. Okay, and some people just want to learn. Okay, so the website that we're gonna learn today is not using code. So you don't have to use code. So right now, a lot of people are joining, and that's good. Thank you so much for being here. I'll just resume some of the notes I went over when we started so you are aware. So we are recording this workshop. So if you don't want to be recorded, you can put your video off. Other than that, you are free to leave it on, and we're gonna be typing using a lot of the chat box. So feel free to share your response there. So yes, so we're not gonna use code to learn how to make a website today. We're gonna use WordPress, and I'll go over that right now. So we're using material. We have the PowerPoint available, and we have a PDF form, especially for educators that want to have material to teach website design. We created a full version of questions and supplement material that you can use in your classes. So if you go to this link, you can download that material, and we have it available in Spanish and English. And you can download that PowerPoint too. So Rachel is joining us today, and she's from USD. Rachel, if you want to unmute yourselves and say hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to see all of you today virtually. But I am a junior at the University of San Diego studying communications and leadership studies. And I'm very excited to be here at the STEAM conference today, helping out Bianca as kind of like the co-facilitator of this presentation. And as you can see, I'll be sending some of you some chats just to, as people come and go, I will be admitting people into the presentation and then sending links. And I will also say something at the end of this meeting when we do our evaluation. So yeah, thank you all so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you. So remember that this workshop is being recorded, so if you don't want to have your face on the recorded video that we're gonna publish online, make sure your video is off. Other than that, you can leave it on. So yeah, so go to the link. Rachel is gonna post that link on the chat box. That way you can download the material all to your computer. So what we have available on that class Google Drive, we have a PDF in Spanish and English that is gonna help you design your website. Again, we're not using coding today to program your website, to design your website. We're using WordPress, so you don't have to learn coding. But what I like about using website is that it was a good starting point for me to start learning about technology, because you learn so many terms when you start using technology, that once you start with the course, you can learn more about technology. So I see Leanne raising her hand. Do you have a question? You can unmute yourself.
Well, wait, are there any third graders?
That's a good question. You're in third grade, Leah. Wow. Yeah, tell us in the chat box, is anyone else in third grade? We'll see in the chat box if anybody else. Yeah, and I thank you, Leanne, for opening this experience, because we want to make multiple experience. So if you have any questions, you can put the video on and raise your hand, and then I'll ask you to unmute yourselves and you can ask a question, or you can type it in the chat box. Okay, thank you for being here. So again, download the material, go to that website link. It's on the chat box. Okay, so here's a little bit about my background, and I think it's so important to go over my background, because I'm not from the tech industry. So I want to tell you a little bit about my story and how we can have different backgrounds and different interests before going into this industry, in this track. Because a lot of people think, oh, STEAM, I have to like technology, I have to like math, I have to like science. And no, it's such a multidisciplinary industry that you can come from so many backgrounds and have those be supplements to start this workshop, this journey. So I obtained my degree, my bachelor's degree in international relations, and my master's degree from USD in social innovation. And I'm from the San Diego-Tijuana border. So I think that's something really important to mention right now. many things are happening, right, in the US, around the world, with health issues, with social issues, with many things that are happening. Some of the things that make who I am, growing up in the border region, are, I would say, three main things. One is being resilient or becoming resilient, because you just have to, right? When you live in the border region, being creative, and this idea of doing collaboration instead of dividing ourselves, right? So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how that came to be in my background. So I was born in Santa Barbara. Then in 1995, we had to move to Tijuana due to immigration issues with my family, but also due to high cost rent, right? Because in California, the rent is super high. So that was my first time that I had to move to Tijuana. And at first I thought, oh, when I came back to the US, growing up in Tijuana made me so much different, because we moved back to Santa Barbara. So there were only 2 Mexican students in my classroom. So being like one of the few people like me made me very different and very open for students to say things to me, to be bullies to me. And at that moment, it made me really sad, right? To be the only one, and because I was different. And this happened when I was in 6th grade. So at that moment, I didn't appreciate how much it means to be different. So at that moment, those distinctions that made me different and made me who I am, I was really, really stressed out, and I was going through a lot, and it wasn't fun, because I was going through a lot of things in school. I didn't like school, and this came from someone that loved school. So at first I said, oh, I don't really know English. I know Spanish, I'm Mexican, I'm different, this is bad, right? So those are the things that came to my mind, like, I'm different, this is not good. So I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But now I realize that those things that make me different are the things that make me unique. And I'll show you some of the projects that I have created and how those things have helped me create the things that I have. So if you have some things also that make you different and unique, and you don't like them because they pull you away so much from other people, see how you can make those things as an opportunity for you to create things that are different from people. Because in order to have a different view of life, we have to be able to go through different experiences and situations. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this ones. I'm not going to go in depth just because we don't have enough time. But for example, when I started I received a scholarship to go and do the master's degree at the University of San Diego in 2018. And one of the things that I kind of visualized in one of the rooms was that I wanted to see a Day of the Dead altar. So, and when I thought about it, I was like, wow, that would be so different to have one here, because nobody has done it. But from a young age, I learned, like, if you want to do something that is different and you might not have the support from other people, that's fine. Just go ahead and try it and see how it goes, right? Most of the time, if it's something good and it's something that you're being creative and you're being different, people are going to support you, because people like supporting passion, ideas, creativity. So that's what I did. And here it was the first day of the altar at the Croc School in the building. So what I did is, like, of course, like adults or people think of all the logistics and all the problems that are gonna go with having something like this. Or if you think of this in other settings, maybe you want to create your website, or maybe you want to create your own project. And people might say, like, oh, there's so many, but because as adults, we think about the logistics, like how safe it's gonna be. But if you just go ahead and start, we'll find the people around you, we'll find a way to support you and make it happen. So the way that I started this project was that I just had some girls from my classroom start bringing things for the altar. And then I asked permission from one of the people that were working in the school, and just things started happening. So once people start seeing your energy and that you really want to do it, people support you. So I guess that was my learning lesson. And then I also did a presentation at USD through one of the companies that I started, Baja Urban, and that's when I started learning about supply chain and business. And then I took another risk. In 2016, I left all my things and I went traveling and backpacking alone as a woman, alone. So I think one of the things that I want you to learn today is that it's okay if you're the first one in your family to travel alone. It's okay for you to be the first one in your family to learn technology. It's okay for you to be the first one in your family that tries new things. And this one was more recently in 2018. Again, I left everything that I had here in San Diego to go and backpack alone. And I always find new learnings, opportunities for me. And this is a part that we rehabilitated in 2018 with USD through a program there. So there's many things that I have done, and I'm like the first woman, the first Mexican to be there, the first Latina, Hispanic to be there, especially within my family. Many of the things that I'm the first one to try it. And many of those things are scary, but once you start on that journey, you get the support from other people, and you get the support, of course, from the universe or whatever your greatest belief is, whether it might be religion, it might be the universe, it depends for all of us, right? But once you start on that journey, things just start happening. So I wanted to share a little bit about that. So now tech. So from that background, which is like super different, I started to learning about technology and education because I'm a high school teacher. So I wanted to integrate technology and see how we can impact students from all over the world without having any barriers. Like I told you, I'm from the San Diego-Tijuana border, and something that it was a big challenge for me growing up was not having access to resources in my community. And that's something that really bothered me because I saw this leadership workshops that were super expensive. And I couldn't attend those. So now that I'm grown up and I'm an adult, I want to create those resources available for youth, for high school students, for college students, for any learners that want to learn, and have them be accessible and open and free and available. So that's what I'm gonna teach you now, the resources that you can access to create your website. We have more resources too, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about that and how you can access them. And yeah, so let me start again, like I mentioned, in tech, for example, only 20% of tech jobs are occupied by women, right? So many times, especially going in the tech industry or going in a different industry or starting to do something new, we are gonna be the first ones to try it within our family, within our community, within our culture maybe too, but it's okay. It's okay if that's the case. So Casa Azul Production, so what are we? So we're a pilot program. We were funded by the US State Department to create this online platform. I am one of the creators. We offer self-taught online classes in digital media. So we have a free course on website design, and we have an illustration course coming up. So something again that I want you to take away from this presentation is that it's okay if you have other interests. For example, if you like drawing, if you like taking photos, you can combine those talents in technology. It doesn't have to be something, you don't have to leave one for the other. Like in my case, right? I like working with a community, I like working with students, and now I created Casa Azul Production. So I integrated technology and education. So that's an example of how you can combine your passions and interests to work within STEAM. without leaving your interest behind. So we have a website design course available in Spanish and English. And we currently have a digital media illustration course in Spanish, and we have one coming up in English. And we have our YouTube channel. And our goal is to train and recruit young youth to work in digital media production by providing micro work. So we currently provide work to people within the US, Mexico, and South America. So that's our goal, to continue to offer opportunities to young adults and adults. So this is our website, is casaazulproductions.com. So now, before we start this, the step-by-step process to create a website, I want to tell you that I'm gonna go over briefly over a lot of material, a lot. So again, we're not using coding to do the website, we're using WordPress. So there's no requirement to know coding or programming in order to do the website. You just need to learn how to follow those steps. That's kind of the only requirement. But again, I'm going to go through a lot of material, so you might not understand a lot of the things that I say, but that's fine. Even if this is the first time that you hear the word that I'm saying, that's fine, okay? I'm gonna show you how you can access our course after the presentation, so you can go through the course at your own pace, and you can watch the videos all over them, how many times you need to see any content on your own. So don't think that, oh, that's too much, I don't get it, I'm out of here. No. We're gonna give you resources so you can come back to the website. Okay, so these are some of the options that you might recognize. Some of them, if you recognize any of them, please type them in the chat box. If you recognize any of them, so we have, the first one is WordPress, then we have Weebly, Wix, Squarespace, and Kajabi. This is like the most recent one that they posted. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about all of them, and we're gonna be using WordPress. So most of them, they charge money, right? They charge a monthly fee. When I started my first business, I started using one of these platforms, but I didn't like it because I had to pay a monthly fee. Especially when you're starting up, you don't want to have any of those monthly fees because sometimes you just don't have the money to spend, right? You want to use the money that you're generating from your business or your portfolio in order to take, to make up the cost for the website. So I'm gonna touch on them briefly. Weebly is very, very user-friendly, very, very user-friendly, but they do not provide, well, that's just from my experience. So you might have different experience, and that's fine. I just want to provide an overview for those that are new to the space, but Weebly, on my own personal experience, do not provide the customization that I need for a website, or the security that I want the website to have for people to register. That's the same with Wix, is the same thing. That's my own personal experience. And Squarespace provides a lot of good templates that a lot of big companies do use them to have their website in there, and that's fine. It might work for other companies. It might work for if you decide to get more support with, say you're selling like shirts, or you're selling different objects online, and you need more support with different things. They might be able to provide it. Kajabi is for those people that want to offer courses online. Say you have like a passion for something and you want to share with other people and sell courses. They provide that space for that, but it's expensive. So again, so this is like a mixture of what is available for those people that want to create their website, but they don't want to do coding. So the one we're gonna learn today is WordPress. WordPress is the one that we're gonna use to learn today. Okay, so we have a YouTube channel, and as I'm going through the slides, you're gonna see that there's a YouTube icon there, and that means that whatever I'm saying, it goes with a YouTube video. So if you go to Casa Azul Productions on YouTube, you can see all of our video material. We have playlists. So we have a playlist in Spanish, and we have the other one available in English, and this one just has like live workshops that I do. And we have an illustration course in Spanish, which is coming up in English too. So those are the resources that I mentioned that you can access. So website design. So why do you want to create your website? So there's many reasons that people want to create a website, and you mentioned some of them here in the chat box. Some people want to create a website for their 2023 club at school. Okay, so for school, for your portfolio, some people want to start learning new concepts. That's fine. It's a really good way to start learning about just vocabulary, because this course is going to teach you about technical language, right? So if you take a coding or programming course afterwards, it's going to help you a lot. I'm taking right now a course on programming. It's the first course that I take, and many of the words are familiar because I started with this kind of course in technology. So again, there's different reasons of why you want to create your website. And the first thing that we're gonna go over is branding. So before creating your website, and if somebody has already their branding, like the colors, the font, their logo, type it in the box. Like I would want to know who already has their kit ready before starting their website. So I'm gonna play this video. If you can not hear it, let us know in the chat box. But this is gonna give you a preview of some of the course content that we have on YouTube. Again, this one is available in English and in Spanish. And this is part of the full course that we have available for you on the website. So let me play, I'm gonna play a little bit of this video. So if you cannot hear it, let me know in the chat box.
Casa Azul Productions Destination. To design a webpage, you will first need to decide on a look and theme. There are 3 key steps we will share with you to help you with this process. Step number 1, choose a topic. Start by creating a list of hobbies, activities, or things that you enjoy doing or learning about. Then, choose the one you have the most passion for that you can share with other people. You can also create a business idea around a topic that you can potentially sell products on your webpage. Or, if your parents already own a business, you can design a webpage for them. There are so many ways to use the website, so let's take a minute to choose those things for your webpage.
Many months later.
Good. Now let's continue to the next step. Step number 2, create a brand. Now that you have a set theme, you can now decide on the layout and content for your webpage. This is what we call the look of your webpage, or also a brand. Let's say, for example, it's a sport webpage. If you want it to be a more educational page, you can create content that teaches others how to exercise, play sport, or handle sport injuries. Or if you want to create a sport team fan page for fun, you can create content.
I'm gonna forward it here a little bit and see.
I use the color black. We recommend visiting the Enrique Naya website to learn more about branding colors and what they signify. Now you are ready. You have already accumulated it.
Okay, so this video, for example, goes over the different colors for branding. Why using blue, like what is the meaning behind using blue or red or black or white? Like what is that meaning behind colors before you design your website, right? Because when we're designing a website, what we're trying to do is transmit a message. So branding is part of that message. So again, this is part of a video that you can watch later, and it's part of the full course. So I wanted you to take a look some of that. So one of the things that we're gonna need to start a website, our website is the logo. So this is one of the courses that we most recommend for anybody that wants to start creating their logo, and they look super professional. It's a good start and it's free. So the website is called canva.com. And for those that are gonna take our course online, this is one of the steps that you have to do through the course, and we give you the step-by-steps of how to do it. So once you're on Canva, you go to templates and you can identify logos. From there, once you can change the color, you can change the font, you can change elements. Some of the things there, they cost money, but you can use the free versions. There's also free options there that allow you to just do it for free. But then you can download as a PNG to use it for your website. And this is one of the key things that you're gonna use for your website. You need a logo. And using some of the content from our course, you can decide what color to use, what font to use, anything like that. I think it went all the way over there. Let me go back. You're getting a preview of everything that I'm gonna go over. So again, it's a lot of content, but you're gonna have the course online to go over it more slow. Sorry for that. Okay, so FreePic is another resource that I want to tell you about. For your website, you're gonna need images and high quality images. And sometimes we don't have the resources to take those high quality images. Sometimes you can use your phone, but sometimes you're not able to use a professional camera, use a phone with high quality options. So FreePic allows you to have high quality graphics and resources for free. So I really suggest using this website, especially if you're editing on Canva, using this, what I was talking about here, and there's some things that they charge you and you don't want to pay. You can come to FreePic and download some vectors, some photos, icons, and use it on Canvas. I use this one a lot, so I really, really recommend it. You can use it for other things like PowerPoint with school and other things like that. So the next step that you're gonna need to do to create your website is the domain. And as part of Casa Azul Productions, we offer scholarships, and I'll give you some more information before we end the presentation of how to get a scholarship. So for that domain, we have multiple, and you might know what a domain is the name of your website. It might be .com, .org, depending on if you're an organization or university or a school. Again, the videos contain all this information in step by step, so you know what exactly you need. So here are some options. The prices vary. What they offer varies too, so you have to look into each one individually. These are a few options, but once you have your domain, once you buy your domain, which are typically the price is like $12 to $15 per year, and you have to be really careful about renewing that same domain if you want to use it, because if you skip the renewal, it might be really hard to get it back. So again, I'll tell you more information about obtaining a scholarship for that. The other part that is very, very important about obtaining your website using WordPress is the host. Deciding who is gonna help you store this information, because again, you're having, especially if you're gonna have people register or fill out forms or have people sign up for something online, you want to secure that information. So what the hosting, you need, like this illustration marks, you need the domain and the hosting to build the basic infrastructure to have your website. So here are some examples: SiteGround, HostGator. Again, they range on prices, and Casa Azul Productions offers a scholarship for you to build your website. The host is more expensive because they offer different items for your website. They might offer security, or they might offer, they offer email. So they offer different things, and depending on the price, they might offer different things. I'm gonna tell you that the one we use at Casa Azul Productions is SiteGround. That's the one we use, and that's one that has been working for us. The thing with the host is that most of the time you have to pay it per year. So they might give you the price for the month, but you have to pay the price for the whole year. So that may be a little bit more expensive if you want to pay it on your own. So again, I'll tell you how you can get a scholarship from Casa Azul Productions to cover that cost. So again, so here are some more examples of companies that offer a space for you to host your website. And the essential step is gonna be to connect your domain, the DNS from the domain, to your host. That's like an essential component of building a website using WordPress, because it's what connects them together and tells them where to direct one to be able to access the other one. And something that is really important about getting a host is that they provide SSL secure connection. So what this means is that when you go to a website, you usually see this secure HTTPS. And when we're accessing a website that is not protected, this is what we usually see on website, like not secure, right? So we want to make sure that we have the right protection for our users, but also to make sure that we are, that when people visit our website, that they're not running into any errors, right? So make sure that if you buy a host, it has this kind of protection. And again, if you get our scholarship, you don't have to worry about this because we have it already. So once you have your host and domain, you're gonna go to the cPanel of your hosting provider. So for example, here we're using SiteGround, the cPanel from SiteGround. And the option that we're gonna see in the hosting space is WordPress. So we can directly install WordPress from here. And from there is like less technical and more easy and more, it's just about customizing what we're using. So once we install WordPress, it's gonna give us username, it's gonna give us a password, it's gonna give us a link. And this is the link that we use to modify our WordPress. And we're gonna have a specific username and password. It's really important that you don't share this information with anyone, even if you get a scholarship from Casa Azul Productions, and I'll give you more information in a few more minutes of how to obtain a scholarship from Casa Azul Productions so that we can provide all of this for you for free. It's really important that you don't share this information, because anybody that has this information can log into your WordPress and modify your page. So make sure that you don't share it with anyone, because we don't want to have that. So the next step, the final step, is gonna be more about modifying your backend and your modifying your backend so it appears on your front end. So if this is the first time that you're listening to these words, again, this is part of the video 6. So if you go to the YouTube channel or our course online, there we have a full video that explains these terms so you can understand it better. But basically on the back end, we're gonna install Astra, and what Astra is a theme that's gonna allow us to modify the footer and the header, and Elementor is gonna allow us to edit everything else. So for example, the images, so this is where the branding comes into play, right? And this is why it's important, because once we start editing on WordPress, it's drag and drop, and we have boxes to modify our content, but the branding is so important. This is why all those videos and all that content that we started with is so important, because when we start creating those websites, in order for you to transmit a message, branding comes into play. So how are you going to know what images to use here, what colors, what font? Well, that's why we do the previous work of branding, so you know what to use there. And for those that want to create an online store, we have the WooCommerce plugin. So again, this is part of an online video that we have as part of our course, where we explain more fully how to install this plugin on your WordPress. But what a plugin is that it has all those tools that we need, and all the coding and programming that we need for our website, so that we don't have to create it. But if you know some programming and coding and HTML, then it's gonna help you definitely with WordPress, because you can do more personalized and customized items for your website, but you don't have to. So if you have no background in technology, that's fine. With WordPress, you can start learning about technology and getting familiar with the terms through the tutorials that we offer. So WooCommerce is for those people that want to sell online. You install a plugin and you can start selling online. You can also accept donations and stuff like that. So this is the other material that I asked you to download, and some of you might have downloaded that already. If you haven't, you can go to, I'll show you the link at the end again, but in the chat box, Rachel posted that link where you can download all the course content material. So we have this PDF, especially if you're an instructor, this is super useful to start teaching about UX design. UX design is so important. It's really, really important. And if this is something that you're interested in, like for example, if you like design, if you like, if you ask your questions when you're using like a product, like why did they design it like this? Why is this product specifically like this? Or how can this product be better? How can we use it better? That's UX design, and it's the same for websites. So we created a questionnaire to help you create websites that are UX design ready. So UX design means user experience. So we design in a way that is good for the user experience, for the user to explore our platform or our product. In this case, is website, for our website. So if you're interested in that, that's another career track. So, for those that are interested in learning more about technology, I would suggest looking into UX design, because it's a high impact career right now that has good career tracks. But it's interesting if you like design, but you might like technology, but you don't want to go fully into programming and coding. UX design might be a good career for you. So we have these 2 PDF books that you can use. Again, if you're an educator, you can use it with your class. Or if you're a student, you can use it on your own. We have it available in Spanish and English. And what it has multiple questions that when you answer those questions, it's gonna help you design for your website. So for example, when you go through that course, and I have it here, I can share it. I'm just gonna take like a minute to share it so we don't run out of time. So hopefully you can see, yes, if I'm not wrong. If you cannot see it, let me know, but I think you can see it. You can see the PDF file that I have here, and this one, we have somebody, make sure that everybody has their video on mute because we're getting background noise. Thank you. So the PDF file has questions that are gonna help you design a website that is user-friendly. Many times we go into websites and we get lost, we don't know how to use them. Well, these questions are gonna help you design a website that is user-friendly, right? So before we go into WordPress, we create a website that is good for your users. So for example, we have different questions that as you answer them, is gonna help you start thinking, how should I create my website? And why is this important? And what should I not include as part of my website? Let me see. Let me go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, I think you can see the PowerPoint again, right? Type in the chat box if you can see you can see the PowerPoint? Yes, okay. Okay, so yes, so that PDF, you can use it as an instructor, you can use it as a student. Actually, I'm gonna tell you how our course, you can log into our course and get the scholarship. So, and the PDF file is part of our level 2. So all this content that I went through, in order to take our courses, you have to go through the whole material in order to get the scholarship and access the content. So how to use our course online. So you go to casaazulproductions.com, you create an account. So you can use Facebook, Gmail to log in, or you can just use your email. For those students, only for the students who are 13 years or younger, they need a parent permission form. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this link on the PowerPoint. So if you're a middle school student, then you need this form. If not, you can just create an account online and just have to verify that you have your parents' permission. But I'll leave this here. Once you create an account, it's gonna ask you, do you wanna take the courses in Spanish or English? The courses that we have available in Spanish right now is the course on website design, and we have an illustration course right now. For English, we currently just have the website design for English, but we would publish the illustration course in around September. Okay, so just so you know. So for the website design, you go to full website design course and register to take the course. Once you log in, you're gonna see different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 3 is the last one. In order to get the certificate that Casa Azul Production offers, you have to, we're getting background noise. If everybody can put their video on mute, please. Can everybody put their video on mute? Uh-oh, where's that? Thank you. Okay, good. Okay, so in order to get the certificate from Casa Azul Productions, you just have to complete level 1, and we'll send you the certificate for completing level 1. But if you want to go ahead and create your website and try to get a scholarship from Casa Azul Productions, then you continue to the next level. So this is a certificate that we send to you when you complete level 1. Again, we have the illustration course available too. This is the illustration course. If you like drawing, that's for you. Okay, so for the scholarship, you have to complete level 1. And before going into level 2, it's gonna ask you for the scholarship information. So go in, log in, create an account, register to take level 1. And before going into level 2, it's gonna ask you about the scholarship information. Once you complete that scholarship information, we're gonna receive that scholarship information, and we're gonna let you know if you're eligible for the scholarship. So what we're looking for in the scholarship application is for those students that for somewhere or another need support in covering their costs for a website design. So you might not have enough resources to pay for your own hosting and your own domain. So that might mean that you get scholarships. It might mean that you get financial aid from school. It might mean that you get free lunch, or you get medical, anyone from your family. So those are the students that we want to support. Also, those people that are not eligible for the scholarship, you can make a donation and we can help you make the website. So those are the steps that you need to follow for the scholarship, complete level 1. And before finishing up, thank you so much for staying in here, for joining us on this presentation. This is our contact information. If you want to have questions about the program, or you want to have us host a live workshop for your students, we can. For your high school students, for your students, this is our email. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get all the new content that we're publishing. Our Instagram, you can find us as casaazulproductions.com. And of course, that's our website, right? Really important to create an account. This is my personal email. So if for any reason you want to get in contact with me, this is my personal email. This is my LinkedIn. I use my Facebook also professionally, where I'm always posting resources for students and workforce development. So feel free to follow me. You can go to the links on the presentation. And thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you learned something. I want to thank the STEAM Youth and Community Conference with Monica, but also with Ms. Myers for having us, Casa Azul Productions, with you today. And yeah, let us know if you have any last questions. You can type it in the box. Rachel is gonna give you an announcement before we log off.
Thank you, Bianca. So I'm supposed to send you all an evaluation link. I have not received it from Monica yet. So I just sent her a quick email. There's a lot of different sessions going on right now, so she might just be busy trying to handle those. But I have taken screenshots of everyone who's attended. So maybe if we could do a follow-up email, Bianca, if that's possible, and then send the evaluation link in there, because I haven't received a message from Monica yet.
Okay. Yeah, so we're going through a lot of, thank you, Rachel. We're going through a lot of logistic things right now with the conference, but we'll definitely email you the evaluation form. And yeah, any last other questions that you have, we'll stay here. I'll stay here for 2 minutes. I know Rachel has to log off. But if you have any last questions, we can answer those. You can also unmute yourselves and we can take questions. Any last questions? Again, remember to go to Casa Azul Productions to register for the course. That's the main. I want to leave you with the website. The last one had it right. I don't see any new questions on the chat box. Do we have any? Okay, I think we're good, Rachel. Okay, so thank you all for attending. Remember to download the material. Go to Casa Azul Productions to register to create an account, and we'll keep you updated with any other information. Okay, do you save the recording, Rachel? Okay. All right.
Hold on 1 second. Stop. Oh, there it is.